was I was born to an 18-year-old. And back in the 60s, that was very brave of her to carry me through.
Yes.
And to go through the process of putting me up for adoption, knowing that there was a better life and a family that wanted me. But at the same time, there's this like existential sadness that happens with being born and being given up.
Welcome to Sharing with SusanB. Hi, I'm Susan Blaine and welcome to Sharing with SusanB. I'm really excited to have our guest today and a very provocative topic that we'll be talking about. I have Karen Keskinen, who is the founder and a teacher at Which School Canada. I know it sounds very intriguing, doesn't it? Whichschool.ca is the website. Don't mistake it with .com. So whichschool.ca, and that's where you can check it out. We're going to dive into this provocative subject actually over 3 episodes, so stay tuned with us. This is the first episode, and I wanted to share a little bit of background on Karen, just to give you an idea of who she is as a human and her backstory. She grew up in Montreal and Toronto. You worked multiple jobs. I love the way you said this to me. You said, I worked multiple jobs as a teenager, as a young girl, so I could achieve or earn autonomy and choice. And I thought that was really cool, and I've never really heard anybody say it like that before. Your first job was at Sam the Record Man downtown in Toronto. And what I thought was really cool about that, Karen, was that people would come in and they couldn't remember necessarily the album or maybe even the band, but they could remember some of the tune, or they, this is what I'm looking for. And they would hum a few bars or sing a few tunes. And right away, you could identify. So that's really an interesting look at how your brain works.
Yeah.
You went to university at Concordia in Montreal, then Carleton in Ottawa for economics and then political science. Your first job out of school was an event planner for a couple of years, but then you moved into, I would say, the big bad corporate world and worked for several Fortune 100 companies. And you worked for Labatt's, and I found it interesting that you were only one of 5 women in management. You worked for Stella Artois in Belgium and Rogers Communications in Ottawa for 7 years. And that's where you and I met when I was at the Ottawa Business Journal and you were a client. And you teach now strategic communications and community relations for charities and for not-for-profits.
Yes.
At a few different universities. So you teach online at Columbia University in New York, at Carleton University here in Ottawa, and you also teach at Algonquin College, which is here in Ottawa. You're an independent life counselor working with young people and adults that are making big transitions in their lives. And you also work in a team as a life coach, but you work sort of in a unique sort of case management approach, which I thought was really cool when we talked about that. You work together with families and members of families to get solutions like a mediator. Mm-hmm. You're the founder of Which School Canada, which started in 2017, where you teach and facilitate some of the classes. You have been a volunteer listener at the Hospice of Maycord. You've also been an officiant at several rites of passage, and right now you're working with 2 clients who are dying. Mm-hmm. That must be very emotional work.
It is emotional work.
Yeah.
And it feels good to do it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because you're assisting them in their choice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that must be beautiful.
Yeah, and it's not for everyone.
No, no doubt.
It
takes a special person.
And you get connected to them. Mm-hmm. One has since passed. Mm-hmm. And so I'm officiating her funeral on Tuesday.
Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. Now, you describe yourself as a potent soul. Mm-hmm. I love that. Mm-hmm. And that's something that really stuck with me. And tell us about what you're really passionate about right now.
I'm really passionate about connection We've been through a few years of disconnecting physically, but we've had these online mediums and we've all learned how to use them. But we may still be lacking that depth that we can get when we're like this, when we're sitting across from one another or holding hands. So that depth of connection is what I am most passionate about. And I love that part of Witch School.
And tell us about that. Tell us about Witch School.
Yeah.
And how you're able to satisfy or fulfill that desire, that passion for deep connection.
It's 20 people that come together, and we go through quite a curation of the classroom. Students go through an intake interview, an admissions process, just to get the right fit. So 20 people come together, whether they're online or in person. And we start by holding a safe container. And we do that by calling in the directions and their corresponding elements, recognizing the land that we're on and the nature that's surrounding us, and that they were here long before us. And then we cast the circle by almost using our imagination to create like a temple. And then we do the lesson within that. And we do lessons on spell casting.
Cool.
And herbal magic, trance, and so many different kinds of skills that witches once knew by passing it on from generation to generation. And now here we are in a school environment doing the same thing. So shape-shifting and tarot reading and drumming, and all within the nature of our interconnectivity of the web of life.
And connecting to ourselves.
So how we find connection with one another is through the sharing. We do regular check-ins on, for instance, your pause in nature is one of the pieces of homework. It's a school. So you have a pause in nature. That's part of your homework. Go out into nature and let the tree find you. And then be with it for a while and see what conversations you're having. Trust me, I know our monkey minds get going. But just to breathe and let it happen.
I find in nature the monkey mind tends to calm, tends to go quiet. And we're in the next few episodes, we're going to learn a lot more detail about the curriculum and a little bit of history, which is fascinating. So I hope you stay with us. I like to talk about struggle because it's important. We all experience struggle as human beings, personally and professionally. What's been your biggest struggle with the Witch School?
Well, it's not easy to build connection. We have a lot of barriers and boundaries, and we're always struggling to figure out, can I trust this person? Can I share deeply? And I think my own experience is that this is an environment that I can share in as well. It's like having the family that I always wanted, and I'm creating it. And so every time we meet in the classroom setting or in person, it's this extraordinary opportunity to look around and see the family experience that I'm creating.
Let me ask you what your biggest personal struggle has been. And I know we had a conversation around the fact that you were adopted, and you were adopted at 6 months of age. But so you were in the hospital for the first 6 months. And when you and I were talking before, you said you felt it had an emotional impact on your life.
I mean, I'm so grateful to be alive. In 1968, there may or may not have been options. And I'm a pro-choice person. But at the same time, I was born to an 18-year-old. And back in the 60s, that was very brave of her to carry me through. And to go through the process of putting me up for adoption, knowing that there was a better life and a family that wanted me. But at the same time, there's this like existential sadness that happens with being born and being given up.
And that 6 months when you and I talked, that 6 months you felt that lack of touch, lack of connection.
Yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
That's your passionate work now.
It is. Yeah. I mean, I'm like a rhesus monkey. I like to hug everyone. So you can imagine how COVID sort of affected me. But
It's coming.
I do recognize that not being cuddled like a baby does. You know, I cuddled the heck out of my daughter when she was born in those first 6 months, but I was in an incubator waiting for a family to come.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that did have an effect on me on a cellular level.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
no doubt. Now you have wonderful adopted parents. You met your birth mother on your 36th birthday,
Yeah.
which is super cool.
Yeah.
I love how you say, you know, there's just a lot more people around the table now,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. My mom and dad are, I love them. They're beautiful. They're 91
Oh,
and
bless
doing
them.
really well. And I've met my birth mother, my birth father's kids. So I have half sisters and brothers. So my dinner table is a lot busier now.
That's awesome. I know you're a mother of a trans child as
Yeah.
well. We talked about my friend, and you know her, Amanda Jetta Knox. She's been on my first series. What have you learned from some of these struggles? The takeaway, the lessons,
Yeah.
the golden nuggets, if you will.
Yeah. My daughter transitioning was something that she did as an adult. And it was awakening for me in terms of how much I need to listen and pay attention
Yeah.
and to give people the space that they need to feel safe and comfortable and to be there for her and to be there for people. Not in a I'm going to take over kind of way, but in a let it unfold.
Yeah.
Let nature take its course.
Yes, you would need to be that loving, compassionate, understanding.
Yeah.
What's a quick piece of advice that you would give your younger self, Karen?
Patience. I rushed out and got jobs for autonomy and to be independent. And I rush out and do things all the time.
And you live a nomad life, which
I
is
do.
super interesting. You travel 2 months of a year, right? April and November, to go down to a tropical place and surf. And you live in 2 different places. And you've done that for, 9 years?
9 years now.
Wow.
Yeah. So patience is required. All of that is by choice.
Yeah.
You know? So I am still, just like I was in my teens, being autonomous and independent and making choices for myself, but also having compassion for when I need more time. And at 54 years old, I now need more time.
Take it. Take all you need. Are you ready for some rapid fire fun questions?
Absolutely.
Everything you've always wanted to know about Karen Keskinen right here.
Okay.
Who's your favorite superhero?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman, of course. Do you make your bed every day?
Absolutely.
Favorite food indulgence? And I know you're not carving it.
No.
So what's your favorite food indulgence?
Ooh, ossobuco. Had it last night.
What's that?
It's the marrow of the veal bone.
Wow.
It's delicious.
Sounds decadent. Do you think aliens are real?
No.
As a witch, you don't.
No.
No, okay, fair enough. Do you drive a stick shift?
Yes, I do.
Do you talk to yourself?
Of course, I'm a single child.
Okay, so you have conversations, 2-way conversations or just one way?
I think two-way conversations.
Yeah, I do too, actually.
Yeah.
I do too. Okay, good. I'm not alone. Any tattoos?
None.
None. Me too, no tattoos. Favorite kind of music?
Rap and hip hop.
Rap
A little
and-
bit of reggae.
Wow, I get the reggae, rap and hip hop. All right. Your favorite movie?
A Room with a View.
A Room with a View. What about a book?
The Mists of Avalon.
Miss of Avalon. And a quote? Do you have a favorite quote?
Fearlessness.
Fearlessness. What's something that always makes you smile, Karen?
When people smile at me.
Yeah.
I smile back. It's just contagious.
It is so contagious.
Yeah.
And now that we're slowly unmasked,
yes, I
the
love
smiles
seeing
are
people
back.
smile.
I mean, we could see it with the eyes, but now we get to see it with the face. It's so powerful, right?
Lipstick is back.
Hallelujah. You can connect with Karen. We're going to do 2 more episodes. We're going to dive deep into the curriculum of Which School Canada. Whichschool.ca is the website, so check it out. Do a little homework before you come back for episodes 2 and episodes 3. You'll also find on whichschool.ca all the links to Karen's social media. Please follow her. She's got some really interesting stuff. There was a great spring equinox ceremony recently, and there's a lot of things that they are planning for the community. So tune into that and come out and experience some of them. If you're interested in learning more about Sharing with SusanB and some of the work that I do, I have a series on YouTube, Sharing with SusanB. My website is susanblaine.com, and you can connect with me on all my social platforms there as well. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the next few parts.
Thank you.